Is your Windows PC running out of storage? Is it suddenly acting strangely, taking too long to start, or becoming unresponsive? Maybe your internet connection is not working properly, or perhaps Windows 11 simply feels cluttered and harder to use than it should. Normally, fixing these problems means jumping between Windows settings, Control Panel, Task Manager, Command Prompt, and several other tools. But what if you could access many of those useful Windows tools and settings from one place? That is exactly what WinToys does. It is a free utility that brings together Windows cleanup tools, troubleshooting options, startup management, network tools, system tweaks, and much more. And in this video, we are not going through every single feature. Instead, we are going to use WinToys to tackle some of the most annoying Windows problems one by one, including low storage, Windows errors, network problems, slow startup, and some of the Windows 11 changes you may not like. And stay until the end, because I will also show you how to bring back one classic Windows feature that many longtime Windows users still miss. Let's get started. First, let's quickly install WinToys. The easiest way is through the Microsoft Store. Open the Microsoft Store, search for WinToys, and install the application. Once it is installed, open WinToys. The first time you launch it, the application will prompt you to create a system restore point. Before you start using its different tools and settings, make sure to accept this and create your restore point. This is an important safety step because it gives you a way to roll back certain system changes if something does not work as expected. After that, you will land on the main dashboard. Here, you can see important information about your computer, including your processor, memory, Windows version, storage, and other system details. And this is really the main idea behind WinToys. Instead of searching through Windows to find different tools, many of them are organized right here. So let's start with one of the biggest problems Windows users deal with. Is your C drive constantly running out of space? Maybe you have already deleted some large files, but Windows still keeps telling you that your storage is almost full. Instead of manually searching through temporary folders and different Windows locations, WinToys gives you a dedicated cleanup section. Go to Health, then Cleanup, then Storage. Here, you can see different types of data Windows is storing, including temporary files, Windows Update files, logs, and other unnecessary data. You can review the categories and remove the files you no longer need. This is especially useful when your Windows drive is getting full and you want a simple way to see what can be cleaned. And remember, do not blindly delete everything you see. Make sure you know what you are deleting before you clean anything. But freeing up storage is only useful if Windows itself is healthy. So what happens when Windows starts freezing, crashing, or behaving strangely? Let's look at that next. Maybe Windows has started freezing, applications are crashing, File Explorer is behaving strangely, or the system simply does not feel right. Before you start thinking about reinstalling Windows, there are some built-in repair tools worth trying first. Go to Health, then Repair. Here, WinToys gives you access to tools such as System File Checker, DISM, and Check Disk without requiring you to remember the commands yourself. For example, System File Checker can scan protected Windows system files and attempt to repair corrupted files. DISM can repair the Windows component store when the underlying Windows image has problems, and Check Disk can look for file system and drive errors. Normally, you would open Command Prompt and run these tools manually. With WinToys, you can access them from a simple interface. Of course, these tools are not magic fixes for every Windows problem, but they are useful first steps when Windows starts behaving strangely. Now, not every Windows problem is caused by corrupted system files. Sometimes Windows itself is fine, but your internet connection is not. If your internet suddenly becomes slow, websites stop loading, or network-related features stop working, do not immediately blame your router. There are some basic Windows network troubleshooting steps you can try first. WinToys includes several network cleanup and reset options. Go to Health, then cleanup, then networking. From here, you can perform useful network operations, including clearing the DNS cache. This can help when Windows is using outdated DNS information and websites are not resolving correctly. You can also access other network reset options when you are dealing with more stubborn connectivity problems. Now, this does not magically fix every internet problem. If your router is down, your internet service provider is having an outage, or there is a hardware problem, WinToys cannot fix that. But for Windows side network problems, these are some of the first troubleshooting steps you would normally perform manually. And if your internet is perfectly fine, but your PC still feels painfully slow, there is another place I would check before blaming the hardware. Does your PC take forever to become usable after you turn it on? You see the desktop, but everything still feels slow for the next several minutes. One possible reason is having too many applications launching automatically instead of opening Task Manager and searching through the startup list. WinToys gives you a convenient place to manage startup applications. Go to Performance, then Startup Apps. Look through the list and identify applications that you do not actually need immediately after Windows starts. For example, you may have applications that you only use occasionally, but that automatically launch every time you sign in. Disabling unnecessary startup applications can reduce the number of programs Windows has to load during startup. But there is one important warning: do not disable something simply because you do not recognize the name. If you are not sure what an application does, leave it alone and research it first. The goal is not to disable everything. The goal is to stop unnecessary applications from loading automatically. Now, once Windows is running properly, there is another problem you might want to fix. Windows itself can simply feel cluttered. This is not necessarily a performance problem. Sometimes Windows can simply become annoying to use. You know the setting exists, but finding it feels like a treasure hunt. Or you want to change a simple Windows behavior, but finding the right option requires searching through multiple menus. WinToys includes a large collection of Windows tweaks that can make some of these changes much easier. Go to Tweaks, then select File Explorer. From here, you can enable useful options such as Show File Extensions, Show Hidden Files, and change several other File Explorer behaviors. For example, showing file extensions means that instead of seeing a file simply named Document, you can see document.pdf or document.exe. This makes it much easier to understand exactly what type of file you are dealing with. You can also customize certain Start menu and desktop behaviors from the available tweak sections, so instead of searching through multiple Windows menus, WinToys brings many of these options together. And speaking of Windows feeling different, there is one Windows 11 change that longtime users still complain about. If you have used Windows 11 for a while, you probably know exactly what I am talking about. You right-click a file, and instead of seeing the traditional menu, Windows gives you the new compact menu. Then you have to click Show More Options to access the classic menu. If you prefer the traditional right-click experience, WinToys provides a quick tweak for that. Go to Tweaks, then Desktop, and enable the classic context menu option. After restarting Windows Explorer, you can get the traditional context menu back. It is a small change, but if you use the right-click menu hundreds of times a day, this can make Windows 11 feel much more familiar. And WinToys goes beyond simple customization. It also gives you access to some deeper Windows controls that you normally have to manage separately. Another powerful section is Services, which you can find under the Tools menu. Windows runs many background services to handle things like networking, Bluetooth, printing, updates, and other system functions. WinToys lets you view these services and gives you information about what they do. If you need to change a service's status or startup type, you can right-click on the service and select the option you need. But this is one area where I strongly recommend being careful. Do not disable services simply because they are marked as optional. A service may be optional for one person's setup, but important for another. For example, Disabling a service related to Bluetooth or printing could cause that feature to stop working, so use this section for understanding and targeted troubleshooting, not for randomly disabling everything in an attempt to make Windows faster. And after going through these features, the biggest advantage of WinToys is simple. It puts many useful Windows tools, troubleshooting options, and tweaks in one place. It can make fixing and customizing Windows much easier. Just remember, create a restore point before making major changes, and only change settings you understand. Now, which Windows problem are you trying to fix right now? Let me know in the comments. And if you found this video useful, like the video and subscribe to Ashtech Solution for more practical Windows tips. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.